Hey guys, we just thought we would take a minute and show you our behind the scenes on how we did our haunted bell prop. This was probably one of my favorite props, only because I think it was actually haunted. There would be times we would come out here and it would be stopped, times it would be working perfectly, and then times it would go so fast you thought it was going to fly off the rafters. It almost, when it's going perfectly, almost looks like maybe a ghost or some kind of spirit is back there pulling the rope. And if you can hear faintly, little church bells ringing. Dong, dong, dong. So, won't you join us and we'll show you how we made it.
So I'm back behind the old Spanish mission, and here's a look at our bell. It's all carved out of foam. It's not hard coated. We just put a few layers of paint and kind of aged it up and stuff. Underneath here, I didn't get too crazy with hollowing it out, just enough to kind of give it some depth. Alright, so you can see how I kind of threw together a few pieces of scrap wood just to give myself like a little platform and stuff to mount this motor to. I just C-clamped it on there real quick. I believe we set this up like 2 or 3 days before Halloween. So I had a couple different dimmer switches and I tried them. This one seemed to work a little bit better than the other one. So I just wired it up with the crimp connections to this motor. And then you can see I used plumbing strap just to mount that on there. And I had this like shelving bracket track in the garage, so I just really quickly and crudely cut it, put it together using nylock nuts and bolts. I had this little aluminum spacer. One thing that was nice about using this track for shelving, adjustable shelving, is I was able to put that bend right there, and that allowed it to clear the bell when it would come in the back here. And then I had to add this little section here just to make it a little bit longer. I could have also just raised this up, but it was a lot easier for me to just stick that piece on there. But that spring did help. It actually made a big difference in allowing me to slow it down. When you turn this on, you can control the speed of the motor. Now what we ended up finding out, like I said before, is this thing ended up kind of having a mind of its own and being haunted for real, because I would get it to like a speed that I really liked, and then what would happen is, like, even though I ran an extension cord all the way to our house, like if a fog machine or something would kind of surge the power in our house, this thing would speed up and slow down. So I had a hard time consistently keeping it one speed. I ended up figuring it out by basically putting that spring on there to help it back up, so that I could just basically put it on a really slow setting, and it worked. Worked good enough. You can see the plywood brackets that I made, and again, some more of that track. I just kind of bent and screwed it on the back side of there. You know, I originally was going to make it a lot more fancier, make it look like a fake steel, flat stock steel, and paint it and make it more bulky so it looks more real and stuff, but it worked. There's a nut on the top attached, or I welded it to a bolt that goes all the way through the bell, and then on the bottom you see there's a nylock with a little washer holding it on, but you can unscrew that down there and then just slide this whole bell right off when we go to store it. So that is the whole fancy mechanism, the behind the scenes. Speed it up for you. See, we'd end up doing that, and the thing's like going nuts. So can you imagine if that had if it actually really made a noise?
As always, I hope this video inspires you to maybe make a haunted bell or something similar, and we'll see you on the next time. Ugh, it's going fast again.
Well, would you look at that? Another angel getting its wings.